They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Good golly, what a world we live in. I thought I would remind everyone of this thing called the deep state. Is it real? Fuck. Of course it is, because it was talked about on the floor of Congress by a congressman, and he even wanted to give it the seal of approval. All right, let's do it again. Fuck. All right, so Republican representative to the House of Commons. No, wait, that would be jolly old England. Here in America, we call it the House of Representatives. But Nancy Mace, she had this to say. And folks, there's a difference, I want you to know, between leadership and bullshit. Yeah, bullshit. Here's what she said. We're coming for you. It says that just, one suspicious activity report for the Biden family, just one, for money laundering was tens of millions of dollars and then some. It's a staggering amount of money. Well, I tell you what, if it wasn't bullshit, then she could do something about it. Right? If it's true, or wait, maybe the deep state is protecting everyone. Is that why Nancy Mace will talk a big game? Is that why Jim Jordan will talk a big game? Is that why they'll all talk a big game and then do nothing? Right? If there's no deep state, then throw out McCarthy and impeach Joe Biden and stop the whining and the bitching and complaining to us. Congress, you have the power, not us. We elect you to be leaders as well as representatives, right? That's how, isn't it easy when you really start thinking about it to see how America is supposed to work? Because we're like, McFly, is anyone home? McFly, this person has been elected to represent us. They have the power and authority to control themselves, that is, get rid of McCarthy and get rid of, or at least impeach Biden and send it to the Senate. There truly is, folks, a deep state, because Biden has been caught, to use an old expression that's not racially bad or anything, been caught red-handed several times for years and years. Millions and millions of dollars, yet they won't do anything about it. They won't do anything about it. So yeah, there's a deep state. And everybody in Congress is afraid of them. You bet. Now get this. This is just fabulous, the way this headline was worded. In Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky is willing to have elections on the conditions that the United States and European Union taxpayers fund it. What? He's willing to hold elections? You mean the little dictator is willing to hold elections? What if we pay for it, then Ukraine will manage to help itself use democratic processes? The people voting? Really? We didn't even get that type of crap out of Iraq. We're like, okay, here's your country, hold some damn elections. No, we have to pay for it in order to get it. And then he goes on and says this, right? We promise to crack down on corruption, and my people will be the one that does the investigating of who is corrupt in this country. Really? So the regime of Zelensky, who is himself just a deep state puppet. The deep state is more than the Americas, folks. It's more than Canada and the United States. It's more than England and Europe. It's everything. It's the Illuminati. It includes the World Economic Forum. It includes the World Banking Cartel, and it may as well include the frickin' Pope at the Vatican, because he is a communist POS also. I'm not even going to quote what he had to say today. It's just unbelievable. You know what he had to say? He claimed that Catholic conservatives in America, they're a bunch of wackos. They're the bad guys. There's something really wrong with those people. How's that for leadership? So Zelensky, he's willing to, as dictator of Ukraine, as the Führer of Ukraine, as Ukraine's version of Hitler in 2023, Zelensky's willing to hold real elections. You can believe they're fucking real, right? You're buying this? But we have to pay for it. That's like a bank robber guarding the bank and then saying, well, you know, I'll do a good job, but you have to pay me to guard the bank that I'm going to fucking rob. And then I'll hold an investigation of me robbing the bank, but my people will do the investigation of me robbing the bank while I rob the bank, and you pay me to rob the fucking bank. And don't worry, Joe Biden gets his 10%. He's good with it. Have I made myself clear? I just, fucking unbelievable. Folks, it's the Prepared Mind channel. If you're not here, you're missing it. If you're on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. But if you're on the preparedmind.club or subscribestar.com, you're here with us live. It's not a mandate. I don't have mandates like let's see, the Jim Jones juice. I don't make you lock yourself up. I don't mandate that you come to the show, but it's your option. Unbelievable. But there is someone who is here, and he secretly operates and controls the entire social media structure. And that's Uman. Behind the scenes, turning the screws and the knobs. He's the man behind the curtain. Coming at you from his mobile command center in Illinois. Yes, Uman, thank you very much, sir, for doing such a good job of being just a decent freaking human being on a world full of assholes like Zelensky and Biden. Just incredible. When I read this stuff today, I'm like, okay, if anyone says that everything is normal, this is how America operates, right? This is all normal. This is how the shit works. This is how, Uman says, I have pronounced Illinois wrong again. Dude, I lived in California and I got the fuck out. Crazy stuff. Okay. So, once again, is there a deep state? Is there a deep state? Is there some sort of super secret cadre of powerful a-holes out there who make the FBI do their bidding, force Congress to step in line, control the Treasury, dictate to the Federal Reserve, push you bet there is. You bet there is. I'll tell you what. I mean, right? How can there not be, based on the information I'm about to share with you? Let's see. Let's get, here it is. Another Republican, this time out of Louisiana. His name is Mike Johnson. And the information that was dropped came from former Ukrainian prosecutor Viktor Shokin. And the whole thing surrounds a public, recorded, available to us all right now if you want to watch it, Joe Biden sitting on the stand. Not like a witness stand, but sitting up on a stage talking with two other clowns in front of a live fucking audience, bragging that he withheld money from them unless they stopped investigating his son. And Viktor Shokin, right, yeah, that's true. This is true. The one time Joe Biden tells the truth, it's because he's bragging about how fucking corrupt he is. So Mike Johnson says, this should be the headline in every news outlet in America. Just think of it, the simplicity of it. Here's the summary. The president bribed or pressured a foreign leader to fire that country's top prosecutor because that prosecutor was investigating his son. And he used $1 billion of U.S. taxpayer money to have that bidding done, and then he bragged about it on video. Now, this is Mike Johnson, representative. He's an elected servant to the people. He is supposed to be a leader within Congress. He says, I can't understand why every news outlet is not covering this as the first story this morning and throughout this process. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why. Because they're owned by the deep state. And when he says, right, this should be on every news outlet in America, he's fucking wrong. Congress is the only authority that can do something about this. Congress needs to take action. Only they, only Congress, only the House of Representatives has the power to impeach, not the mainstream media bitches. That is just a way to disseminate information. Well, I'll tell you what, Representative Mike, I am disseminating the information. Everyone on the Prepared Mind channel is writing, sharing, calling, texting with friends and family and everyone they know, co-workers, total frickin' strangers. We all know. We're fully fucking aware at this point. It is your job. You have actual power to take action. Who gives a shit if the media knows or not? Who gives a shit if your constituents know or not? Being a leader means doing the right thing, even when no one's looking. So, Congress people, it's your fucking job. Do it. Don't wait for the media to cover it, and then for all of us to get so angry that you have no choice. In other words, what they're telling us is the deep state is controlling them. They have no power or authority. And they're hoping that we'll get so mad and make such a huge fuss that they'll have to do something. No. Do the right thing anyway. This is where we're at, folks. It has hit the fan. And with all of this information, damning information, they refuse to do their fucking jobs. Here, I mean, let me tell you how good the media is. If you've ever watched a channel where you turn it on and it's got Spanish-speaking people, Univision, right, and then you turn it off real quick, that's like Latin American CNN. Well, they're up in Chicago, Univision, and they're doing a report on armed robberies and the increase of crime in Chicago. And while they're doing the report, they're actually robbed at gunpoint. It's fucking poetic. The media knows about everything that's going on. Who cares? It's Congress that has to do something, not the Senate. It has to start in the House. It's not the Supreme Court. They can't do anything. And as we pointed out, folks, dictators don't look in the mirror and go, oh my God, I just realized I'm a dictator. I should be ashamed of myself. I should be ashamed of myself. I'm going to quit right now. The last person to do that, folks, was Richard Milhouse Nixon. Richard M. Nixon, President of the United States of America. He had the dignity to resign from office when he got caught being involved in a minor break-in at a chicken shit office run by Democrats. That was enough for him to go, oh my God, I'm such an asshole. And he quit. He got on Marine too. He's like, hey, I'm not a crook. I'll see you guys later, eh? And he quit. He had the dignity. Today, fucking Biden's been caught bribing, stealing, grafting, extorting tens of millions of dollars. And that's just what they've caught. That's just what they've told us. And the son of a bitch won't quit. He won't leave. And Congress is so gutless and powerless, they won't fucking impeach the bastard, much less the Senate actually pick it up and convict the old fuck. That's how screwed up this country is. And then people go, oh, John, you're grossly exaggerating everything. No, this is true. All of this is true. This is not the reality you've been looking for, but it's the reality that is. Are you prepared? Do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense? Because Biden's not going to resign. Congress is not going to take action. The deep state is going to keep pushing their fucking agenda. They're going to keep pushing for kids to castrate themselves, to keep pushing. I mean, this is funny. Nikki, was it Nikki? Somebody sent me this meme today. It said, basically, it was, imagine a world where people throw a fit that you're giving hormones to cows to cause them to produce more milk. But it's perfectly fine, if you're a Democrat, to give hormones to children that completely screw their brains and bodies up for the rest of their fucking lives. That's the world we live in, folks. No, John, everything's just fine. I don't know what you're talking about. I come home and there's a can of Bud Light in my fridge and everything's good. No, it's not. It's that bad, folks. It's that fucked up, and it's not gonna get better. You want an example? I'll give you an example. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot to tell you, get your questions down below. Your thoughts, news stories, predictions, prognostications, your observations of the past, how they apply today. Were we warned about this? Do we have other examples of this happening? Whatever you want to talk about, down below. You can take one of my stories and add your own opinion to it. I couldn't give a shit. I just want to know what you, America, are thinking about. And it's funny, all the American thoughts get funneled right through the question section and we talk about it. Now, example, things bad. Yeah, they're that bad. There was a suspect from a crime. That's right. This suspect was arrested. And she stabbed another teenager to death in Washington, D.C. Why did this girl or young woman stab a teenager to death in Washington, D.C.? Because they had a fight over sweet and sour sauce. Sweet and sour sauce. You can go to any restaurant and get sweet and sour sauce. Practically any fucking restaurant. So they had a fight over it, and the girl stabs this teenager to death. And then she actually claimed that she's the victim in all of this. Someone is stabbed to death. Stab, 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 stabbity, stab, stab. Over fucking sauce, a condiment. And then blames the victim for the fact that the victim's bled out to death. Folks, blame the Democrats. Blame the Rhino Republicans. Blame Black Lives Matter. Blame Antifa. Blame socialists. Blame Obama. Blame Biden, because they all have the same mentality, the same desire, the same agenda. And it's the same one that deep state is pushing. That's right, folks. This 2 for Tuesday is too fucking stupid to comprehend. I mean, I can't believe it. I mean, I remember when I was younger, they used to have this word they used to describe crime. Are you ready for this? This senseless crime was committed, and we're all outraged, right? The news announcer, the anchors used to say, they go, and this senseless crime, the police captured them, they will be held accountable. Now the media will go, well, this crime happened, but the darn girl, she's the victim in all this. That's the country we live in, folks. That's the world. It's upside down. It's worse than clown world. It's worse than bizarro world. It's unbelievable. It truly is. And it's not just children fighting over fucking dipping sauce. The judge that is judging President Trump, Judge, and this name is awful, Chutkan. I mean, we're not supposed to have musical sounding names. I know that. I know there's some weird sounding names out there, and some roll off the tongue like music, and others are just a little bit stunty. Judge Chutkan. Anyways, Judge Chutkan, who's judging Trump, compared his case where on January 6th, he said, everyone be peaceful. She's comparing that case, the J6, January 6th, to Boston bombing and 9/11. And you know what? I agree 100% with Judge Chutkan. Because the Boston bombing, the Boston Marathon bombing, which occurred on, I think, April 15th, tax day, and 9/11 were also government shams. They were scams. The government was involved in those. They were scams, and they were crimes against humanity and against America. And the same with this Trump case. The January 6th Trump bullshit prosecution is very similar to the Boston bombing marathon and 9/11. They're all government shams. And the government is run, pushed, and even funded by corporations and banks. That's right, folks. Corporations and banks are pulling the puppet strings. They pay money to the political masters who then threaten, coerce, bribe, and extort those people in office who are no more than miniature poodles with collars and chains. And they'll run to the end of their collar and chain system and bark their little heads off, but their bite, it doesn't exist. Right? So these representatives that want to get out there and sound tough as hell, Jim Jordan and Nancy Mace and the rest of them who won't do shit. And then Mr. Do-Nothing McCarthy himself. That's our country, folks. Don't worry. If I'm arrested or you're arrested, nobody will come to your rescue because everybody is law-abiding on our side while you look at a bunch of fucking lawless scumbags in Washington, D.C. Don't worry. Don't worry. The deep state has got everything well in hand. Are you ready to fight back? Well, there's going to come a time when you look to your right and no one's there. And you look to your left and no one's there and it's just you. Are you going to stand up for yourself or are you just going to take a knee? Folks, get this. ACLU. You know who that is? It's a legal organization that is socialist in nature and in agenda and in practice. ACLU workers, that is employees, in Fulton County, Georgia. That's right, the same Fulton County that has Fannie Willis prosecuting President Trump. The ACLU workers at Fulton County, Georgia, guess what they had? They had personal access on their personal computers to the election network software in Fulton County, Georgia. You know what this proves? It proves that elections are fair. Fair, folks, is a term in equity law, not in law, equity. There's equity and there's law. There's law and then equity is man's ruling going, yeah, what's fair and what's not? That's equity. So they want, hey, this is fair. Let's give all the power to the left. That's fair because we owe them, right? Because, America is based on white supremacist ideology. So it's not cheating, it's making it fair. And so giving authority to ACLU staff, employees, not even government workers. This is so fucking illegal and off the charts, I can't believe it. Yet, where is the government? Where are the prosecutors? Why aren't other states prosecuting these fucking people for what they've done? I mean, hell, let's use long-arm statutes. They violated RICO statutes. Oh, sure, why not? Let's just throw the fucking book at them. They violated our national law. They violated our 14th Amendment, equal whatever the fuck clause it is that they love to throw around when it suits them, right? By doing what they did in Fulton County, Georgia, they deprived the rest of us of our rights. That's right, deprivation of rights. It's in the United States Code somewhere. Let's just make some shit up and start prosecuting people. Wow. You want to guarantee fair elections? Just give the ACLU access codes so they can log in, log on, and just stick it to us with the big log. Unbelievable. And they wonder why we come up with conspiracy theories about the deep state. Because the deep state is that's just a conspiracy theory, right? Just a conspiracy theory. Oh, wait a minute.
They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President. The deep state.
The deep state is a cadre, a cabal, a cartel, organized crime dedicated to carrying out he's full of shit, but they do exist, folks. Now, is that a conspiracy theory? I don't know. I mean, this is the appeal of conspiracy theories, because the world we see is fucked up. It's completely off the hook, wrong. Everywhere I look, it's wrong. It's bad. People go, well, why do you live in a bunker, John? Well, because what I see out there, I don't like. And you see something, and you can't wrap your mind around how it's possible. So then you have to come up with other scenarios. Then they call it, well, that's a conspiracy theory. In fact, the term conspiracy theory was a conspiracy of the CIA to help hide, to camouflage, to make opaque the understanding of the assassination of John F. Kennedy, President of the United States, who was killed in a great, fantastic conspiracy shared by the Secret Service, the CIA, the Mafia, the Dallas Police Department, and everybody who was meeting. Yeah, they even know the names of the politicians, folks. Yeah, it's fucking shit. I mean, get this. Why are conspiracy theories so appealing? Because of government secrecy. Now, in Maui, folks, at ground zero, guess what they've done? They've put up a huge barricade with a black curtain, and they have special police. Everything the government does that's suspicious, every suspicious move adds to the conspiracy theories, because nobody trusts the government anymore. Nobody trusts or believes the government. And why should we? When all we get is a bunch of hot air and bullshit. There's no opposition party. There's the obscuring party, and then there's the do-nothing party. There's a deep state, folks. There's a deep, deep, deep state. Before I get to your guys and what you're talking about, what you want to talk about, get your questions down below. Get your thoughts in. Get them in. Am I off the hook? I wish everyone in America actually had an opportunity to listen to what you and I have to talk about, because it's far more interesting than what the mainstream media talks about. In the 1 hour that we go over every day, we cover more news, more facts, more ideas, more concepts. We cover more of the fucking planet than the rest of all the mainstream media combined. We're going to run puff pieces and bullshit and propaganda. That's all they do. You remember back in 2008, that was the campaign when George Bush was done, the economy took a shit, and they had John McCain, Senator sellout John McCain, and Barack Hussein, Barry Soetoro Obama, who was a clean, articulate black guy, according to Joe Biden. They're running for president. And a guy jumps up and completely trolls Obama. And the guy's name was Joe the Plumber. Do you remember Joe the Plumber? He talked about, and he put Obama on the fucking spot and talked about how he was going to have to pay more money if he made more money. And he talked about how the tax system was punitive and socialist. He trolled Obama. That should have killed his campaign, 100%. The way Dukakis's was killed when he was asked, well, what if your wife was kidnapped and raped or some shit like that? I can't even remember the guy who got out on the prison, leave prison on the weekends, you know, get you furloughed out of prison. And then the guy went out and I think raped somebody. Anyways, Dukakis completely lost it. That was it. He was done. This is what should have happened to Obama, but it didn't. Anyways, Joe the Plumber, he trolled Obama. It went viral, and McCain still lost. Anyways, Joe the Plumber, I think, was a great American, in that he showed us that we should be willing to stand up and put these people on the spot and call them to the carpet for their lies and bullshit. Joe the plumber, folks, has died, age 49, of pancreatic cancer. We need more Joe the plumbers. We need more John the contractors. We need more Ooman the manufacturers. We need more, name it, whatever it is. We need more regular fucking people out here saying and doing things and not being afraid. Putting the fear aside. We need more of that. We truly do. We truly do. Let's get to it, folks. Let's do the inner circle. That's you guys. Questions down below. There we go. Let's run the ticker across the bottom. $2 a month on thepreparedmind.club or subscribestar.com. Those are your choices. Two choices. $2 a month supports actual discussion of shit that matters. And I'll tell you, write your congressman and say, I know you're a stinking coward. I know that you are afraid, whether it's the FBI or the deep state or the fact that you've broken some law and they caught you. You still need to stand up and do what's right. Anyways, name redacted said, the term conspiracy theory was crafted to shut down talk about the JFK assassination. That's correct, name redacted. I appreciate you supporting the opinion I had. Yeah, the term conspiracy theory. Because, folks, conspiracy is an actual thing. In fact, one second. This would be my son, Luke. He's funny this way. All right. The term conspiracy is used in federal law. That's right. Washington, D.C. has laws on the book about conspiracy. Two or more people gathering together, discussing the commission of a crime is a conspiracy. It's not really a conspiracy theory to understand conspiracy. Yeah, now theory. I think Einstein, remember that guy, the smartest dude in the universe, supposedly, next to Nikola Tesla? He had a theory. It was called the theory of relativity. That guy's pretty smart. He had a theory of relativity. Well, I guess if he worked with someone else, it would be conspiracy theory, would it not? Because it's a theory. Now, the thing about theory, or a hypothesis, if you will, is that you can test it. Now, you could say it's a theory that 3 + 3 is 6. That's a theory. If two people get together and say 3 + 3 is 6, that's a conspiracy theory. But when you look at the evidence, if you take 3 fingers and 3 fingers and put them next to each other and then count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's no longer a theory. Now it's a proven fact, because counting can be duplicated. And the theory becomes fact. It's no longer conspiracy theory. It becomes fact when the information fits the pieces. Now, are there aliens and yada yada? I mean, there's a lot of theories out there, folks, that cannot be supported with facts. There are a lot of theories that can. But the word conspiracy, yes. Conspiracy theory. And then they gave it a negative connotation. If you come up with something that the government does, you want a conspiracy theory? Senator Arlen Specter, Republican, by the way, came up with the magic bullet theory. That was a theory. And that theory was used to explain how a single bullet could strike President Kennedy and Governor Connolly 6 different times. One bullet taking over 3 seconds to travel through the air and create several wounds and not even have so much as a scratch on the bullet. That's the magic bullet theory. and the government wants to say your concept and notion and understanding of the shit they're doing is a conspiracy theory, what a fucking slap to the face. Fuck the government for that one. And the fact that Senator Arlen Specter spent his entire life in office on the public payroll after coming up with that whopper of a bullshit. Guess who else was on the Warren Commission, folks? Yeah, Judge Earl Warren. That's right. Judges were on the Warren Commission. Congressmen. They're all a bunch of lying sacks of shit, and they have been from day one. All right, pardon my bellicosity, but I've had it with these fucking people. I'm tired of playing around with it. There's going to be one way to get them out of office, folks, and it's not by talking to them nicely. Understand, we're not there yet. We've got to be in a lot more pain. A lot more people have to go, but I thought the government was good. We pay their salary with our taxes. They have to do what we say. No, they fucking don't. Why should they? Why? We have given them no reason. We'll get back to the Declaration of Independence later. For now, let's check out some more of your thoughts. Hey, Mr. Ooman, what do we have out there? We got Charles Gentry. He says, BlackRock on hidden video. States politicians can be bought for $10,000. That's all it costs for someone we are supposed to be able to trust, and they betray us. Yeah, $10,000. Can you believe that? Can you fucking believe that? 10 grand. Yeah, and this was captured, folks. This is understood. These people will sell everything out for nothing. Imagine being Senator Joe Schmuckatelli, Senator Feinstein, Senator Rand Paul. That's right. I'll mention the good guys too. Name them: Senator Cotton, Senator Hawley. I'll name some more Republicans. Mitch McConnell. Oh yeah, there's a bad guy. Senator Feinstein. Who's it? Senator McMurdo or McMurdaugh or Murtaugh or whatever the fuck her name is. Senator Byrd. Grand High Dragon Democrat of the Ku Klux Klan. Finished his career as senator, died, was honored. No mention of his old, racist career. They'll sell us out, folks. Joe Biden, once a senator, now a scumbag in the presidential office. They'll sell you out. He's got a flat rate. He'll work for 10%. These people are all sellouts. What they'll do for just a little bit of money. And what fucking good is that money? Last week, I read all those fucking names. It may have been the week before. Out of Jeffrey Epstein's Little Black Book. How do they control them? Drugs, sex, extortion, bribery. That's what we get, folks. BlackRock, a corporation, the banks come out. All they got to do is wave a little bit of that stinky money under their nose. Back in the early 90s, some Chicago, that's in Chicago, Illinois, Chicago politicians were caught on tape talking about having sex with underage girls. And one of them said, and one of them's a Catholic, as if that was a fucking bonus plan. These guys were run out of office. Today, they would just say they're minor attracted persons, right? They're sick, awful fucks, folks, and it's not getting better. It's not. It's not. They'll lie about anything and make shit up about whatever they want, and we're expected to believe it. Are you on board with prepping? Are you on board with being a patriot? Or are you just going to say, fuck it, it's fine, John. As long as I got my Bud Light in the fridge. Fuck, I went in the store the other day, and I saw this giant fucking display of Bud Light. It was shaped like an oval football stadium with all kinds of props and shit in the middle of it, you know, cardboard cutouts. Like I'm supposed to go, oh, that's just fucking great. Look at that. All that beer stacked up with pieces of cardboard to make me want to buy it. Fuck you, Budweiser. And by the way, there was not one case of beer missing from the entire perimeter of this beer-shaped stadium. You know, it was framed with beer cases. They'll make up and say anything they can, folks. They couldn't give a shit. I mean, guess what Joe Biden said today? Just making shit up. Quote, domestic terrorism is rooted in white supremacy. And it's the greatest terrorist threat we face in the homeland. The greatest terrorist threat we face in the homeland is government. Period. End of story. Domestic terrorism that's rooted in white supremacy is the greatest terrorist threat we face in the homeland. Show me some. Show me some. The biggest so-called white supremacist group looks like a bunch of FBI turds. What are they called, new man? They're the what's the name of this so-called group of white supremacists? What the fuck are they called?
I think what you're talking about is Patriot Front, but they are not FBI agents.
That's correct.
And everybody that keeps saying that, I sent you that article that Corsair sent us.
Look, if they can buy off politicians, if they can buy off bankers, if they can buy everyone off, why the fuck do we have to believe that they're not paying money to the Patriot Front?
I don't know. We still have to have that conversation with Steve about that.
Yeah, I would love to, and it needs to happen. If they can pay money to BlackRock or name your mercenary group out there, they take government money to kill. They take government money to perform whatever. They'll do anyone. These fucking people will do anything for money.
Yep. Well, we'll find out more about that, and we could have a conversation. So,
yeah. I mean, just they're all for sale.
Yep.
I mean, if Patriot Front, and I believe they're white supremacists at this point.
That is the information that I've seen and been shown evidence of. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, I dug back through some of my files on these fucking people. And they will work with government organizations. They'll do anything it takes, provided they get to win in the end. They all think they're going to win. So the ends justifies the mean. They'll do anything for money. They'll sidle up to their enemy in order to get closer to them. And if they're getting money for it and power and control, and they think they're going to ultimately win, they're good. Now, when it comes to the Nazi Party, what did the Nazi Party do, Mr. Uman? And I'm not yelling at you. I'm just excited and pissed off.
Well, I mean, right? You do anything to further the agenda, you know? I mean, you make big promises and you do whatever it takes to make it appear like you are fulfilling those promises, and then do whatever you want once you have control.
When the Nazis, as soon as they got control, what do? Oh, they went after the homosexuals.
They went after homosexuals, and they also went after all the people that turned on their own government, because if they would turn on their own government, they would turn on them as well.
Correct. But everyone thought they were going to control the Nazi Party. Ultimately, the fucking fascist Nazis ended up killing everybody that could oppose them or presented a threat. Even their own military, the SA, the regular army. They fucking turned on them. They turned on the homosexuals. They turned on everybody and threw them in fucking prison camps and said, why don't you go take a shower, and gassed them. So for me, it's not a stretch to believe that the Patriot Front are truly white supremacists. I mean, if you look at Ukraine, who's the Azov battalion?
Former Nazis or Nazi wannabes.
They're current fascists who are anti-communists. They're Nazi fascists. They fly the swastika. They think they're the descendants of the German Nazis. And what were they doing? They're killing Russians or anybody they don't like.
Yep.
And it's just it's insane to me to think that these people are so committed to their ideology that they won't take money and fuck everyone over and screw us all. So with Joe Biden, this just kills me. I was just so pissed off when I read this. Domestic terrorism is rooted in white supremacy. I'm like, the only ones we see is Patriot Front, and they're probably taking money, going, yeah, give us your money. And then they go out and they use that money for recruiting in their organization, how they do their thing, right? And then he says they're the greatest threat in the homeland. I don't know, man.
I'm sure you can find some isolated little groups here and there, but it is definitely not enough to, have a significant impact there, in my opinion.
Right. Jesus, yeah. Like if every major city, well, Antifa to me stands a far greater chance of organizing because they're practiced at it and using colleges as their recruiting grounds for coming up with some kind of youthful army full of radical idealists, which is kind of what Antifa is.
That's exactly what they are, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, and once again, as a reminder, George Soros is funding Antifa in the protest back in 2020. And so they're anti-fascists working for a fucking corporate master, which means fascism. It's just, It's incredible to me. Yeah, I really do want to have that discussion about white supremacists coming from someone who's actually an authority figure and in the subject matter, someone who knows a lot more about it than I do.
Well, let's talk about it after the show, and we'll set some times. But in the meantime, we got some other questions here. I don't want to shortchange anybody on.
Okay, man. Thanks for stepping up and throwing that one out there. All righty. I just can't get enough fun today. Charles Gentry says, was not surprised about the mass youth gang wars in the Demtard cities. Zero Dark 30 was the first I have heard about it, but it is right on schedule for a commie revolution, rules for radicals. Sure, you bet. You were not surprised about the mass youth gang wars. Well, I don't know if I was surprised about it, but yeah, there it is. It happened in LA over the weekend. I did not talk about it, even though it was on my radar, and I did cover it in Zero Dark 30 just to make the point right there. The point I made then. Every show I try and make significant and talk about something important. And it's not the same fucking thing every day. I would like to shake hands very firmly with anyone who thinks that I talk about the same fucking thing every day. I don't. We talk about something new and nasty that changes every single day. Like this, for example, the National Archives. It's that place where they keep the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and every word ever spoken on the congressional floor. The National Archives is in charge of cataloging and storing all communications from all members of the government. As far as I'm concerned, it's evidence of all their fucking crimes. Anyways, the National Archives has discovered and now released the fact that over 5,000 emails, 5,000 emails contain Joe Biden's secret email addresses. You've heard the name Robert L. Peters. Calling Robert L. Peters. Is Robert L. Peters in the house? Hey, Biden, pick up the phone, asshole. We're calling you. Robert L. Peters, that email address and others are on over 5,000 emails. It is illegal for these people to have secret emails, private emails, etc., because of who they are and the power they have. And somehow the National Archives has pulled up over 5,000 emails that have this address and others associated with Joe Biden on it. How many backroom deals? How many? Just how many? Unfucking believable. I'm telling you, there's no end to it. There's no end to this. It just keeps going. Where do we go next? Heidi says, I was watching a news story about Biden standing in front of Congress saying he was corrupt. He was very young. He was defending someone. Same huge smile, same squinty eyes. He's been doing that for 40 years. Biden is a complete moron, and he has been. He was a moron before he was elected. Is it any surprise the apple does not fall far from the tree for Hunter Biden to be sending emails out saying all manner of stupid shit implicating his old man, vice president, in all of his business dealings, talking about it with friends, and then leaving a fucking computer full of these emails at a computer shop? He is a chip off the old block. That's right, folks. Hunter Biden is Joe Biden version 2.0. Just as stupid with minor improvements. Unbelievable. It's too much. Thank you, Heidi, by the way. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for the support you all show me, the message, the channel, the network. I mean, should I just calm down? Should I go take a Xanax? Take a hit off of a fucking big old Bob Marley joint? Take a couple tugs off of a bottle of Night Train? Wrap myself up in a loose coat with some newspaper stuffed in it and just spend my life in a fucking alley just drinking myself and taking drugs into oblivion because there's no fucking help in this country? Or should I do what I'm doing and coming here and talking to you guys? Let's take a vote. All in favor of John destroying himself, say aye. No ayes. All right, nay. The nays have it. I'm not doing that. Instead, I'm going to do this. Fuck. Okay. Let's do it. Mr. Uman, I know we got more out there. Let's do it. Name redacted says, John, does anyone realize we're in the part of the game where the common people start getting grabbed and disappeared? Yeah. We're now in that part of the game where everyday people can get grabbed. The police, a black van. Yeah, you can be disappeared. I carry on me 24/7 some serious artillery. It's completely legal, folks. In fact, it's a good idea that we all arm ourselves. When you step outside your house, when you step outside your work, when you get out of your car, what do? First thing I look for is a van with blacked out windows or no windows at all. I look for businesses, a plumbing truck, an electrical truck, a repairman, any vehicle that is big enough to hold me in it that's suspicious. Police vehicles, yeah, if there's more than one police vehicle anywhere I go, I'm watching very closely because I could just be grabbed and disappeared and you'll never see me again. And I'll end up somewhere being put in a whole lot of pain, wishing I'd never said a fucking word because now it hurts. I don't want that day to happen, so I carry every day. They could, I'll use these words, man, if anyone ever put their hands on me, I'd mess them up. I'd kick some ass. I'd fight like hell. They fucking shoot me, tase me, drug me, and then it's over. But if I get a chance, I'll fight for my freedom and my liberty the same way I do intellectually. This right here is the prison. Your head. You, whoever you are, whether I'm talking about Heidi or Uman, whether I'm talking about Nikki or Jolene, whether I'm talking about Bonnie Blue or John Lord, whether it's name redacted or who's your daddy, this thing, this cranium, is what we think through, and we see out the eyes, and we hear the words. We listen to the sounds. We experience through sensations, and it all goes into our mind, and we're trapped in our head. And it's through our body and the exercise and use of our arms and muscles that we react and interact with the rest of the world. That's how we experience life. I know this is all kind of just, of course, John, that's how it works, damn it. You know what's fucking right and you're not doing anything about it. Why not? Because you're worried about your body. You're worried about your mind. You're trapped in here. We all are. We're all saying we're good, moral, decent people. So I can't use these hands to do what this mind knows needs to be done. And I can't talk to other people and tell them to come out of their mental prison and start acting with their hands and fixing the problems out there. We're not there yet. We're in the part of the game, as Name Redacted says, where people start disappearing. And it's funny, they're starting just like they always do. They silence the politicians. They remove them from office. Madison Cawthorn, Donald Trump. They get them out of the way. Anyone who has any semblance of freedom or liberty in them, anyone who can't be bought or coerced or tricked into perverting themselves. And that's not just a sexual perversion, it's any perversion. If they can't be bought off, they get rid of them. And then people on the street, they start with what they've done. They intimidate. January 6th was about intimidating the common man and told, you can't come anywhere near us or we'll come get you. You want to threaten them? They'll come to your house and shoot you, even if you're a 75-year-old crippled, stoved up old man. But you're trapped in here, folks. The prepared mind. When will you act out with these and let your mind do what it needs to be done? See, that's what they're afraid of. Washington, D.C., they're afraid you will take action. If we all took action at exactly the same time, their game would be over. It'd be over in a matter of weeks. I'm not going to say minutes or days. It'll take a few weeks. But we're not all willing to act like that because we're trapped inside here. Is now the right time? Should I be doing this? Will I get arrested? Will I lose my life? Will they take all my money? Will I be embarrassed? Will I be prosecuted and put in jail? Right? All these things, all of these negative consequences for taking a positive action. That's what's stopping us. That's the prison we're in. We're held in this place. There's going to come a time in the game when if people don't start taking action, right, it's going to be over for everyone else. And that's what happened to Germans in Germany in the 1930s. Let's do this. Mr. Uman, what do we got? We got James Nicholson. He says, good evening, John. How long do we have to keep paying for security for idiots like Jamie Raskin, Jack Smith, and Tanya Chutkan? Oh, I don't know. For the rest of their lives. For the rest of their lives. Or until we are completely enslaved, locked inside cities that have, well, steel barricade for walls, and we're slaves. And even then, we'll keep paying for it. Because we'll have to pay to keep the walls up around us to protect us. That's right. Government is the gift that keeps on taxing. Anyways, thank you, James, very much. Forever. Forever. I watched this jackass of a judge run some courtroom crap. It was jury selection. And he came out of a building where no one gave a shit who he was with one armed sheriff's deputy. That's one judge. There are thousands and tens of thousands of judges in this country. And they all want security. They all want to be protected because they're that important and special. They're all a bunch of arrogant fuckheads. And we'll pay for it. And we'll keep paying for it. All right. Mr. Uman, I know we're getting close to the end. Uh-oh, he says, speaking of judges, did you see that the only one of Trump's co-defendants that remains in custody is William Prescott Floyd, the only black guy and head of Black Voices for Trump? He's considered a flight risk. He doesn't own a 747. But yeah, you bet. Interesting. Attention, Black America. The pretense that you're special is going to end as quickly as the pretense for homosexuality is going to end. All of these people that think they belong to a special interest group or a special protected group, a protected class, as they call them now, that protection is going to disappear and melt away when we go full socialist, full radical. Yeah. Black Voices for Trump, we can't have that. You're going to stay in jail. I believe he's also the same guy that body slammed an FBI agent, and we were never told what the FBI agent did to earn that punishment, and he was not thrown in jail for body slamming an FBI agent. Anyways, what a show, and I'm still wound up as fuck. I'm pissed off, folks. I want you to get pissed off, but think intellectually. Understand the information out there. Know that we don't know everything, but do we know enough? Can we gather enough information? We have the internet. We have social media. We have the mainstream media. We have what the politicians are saying. We also have the ability to discern truth from lies, fact from fiction, bullshit from reality. Figure it out. And at some point, we're going to be in that part of the game where you get to take action. And again, I would never glorify or glamorize violence, suggest it because it's harmful and dangerous. I'm just saying that at some point, that's when people will start fighting back. And it's going to get nasty. It's going to get ugly. Unbelievable. Anyways, let's do this. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. God bless America.